Hey, everybody. Hi. So the people who are up there can hear me, but they don't know that I'm behind them. I want everybody to turn around real quick and just say hi. So this is the deal. Our camera was doing funny things today, so we're using a different camera, which has a really wide angle. So everybody's head is in the shot. I just want you all to know. But let's get this show on the road. Hit it. All right. This first song has some instructions. Some of you will have heard this before. You ready? Here we go. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the light in you. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love. How's that? I'm going to have to take the tempo down a little bit. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum. There we go. Now it feels like I was rushing through it. All right, so now, here's the next set of instructions. Are you ready? Take a look at the person next to you. Say, the light's in me and it's in you too. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, in every walk of life, in every creed and color, in kinship we unite. To honor the light in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love you were born to be. Lift your voice, repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love. All right. That was good. That was good, good, good. So there's a reason the microphone is down here. I'm going to leave it down here. And you'll find out why. So welcome to Tucson New Thought. I'm so grateful to have you join me this morning and join this community this morning. We are a community that comes together on Sunday mornings, gathering in kinship and love. And we are here to celebrate our vision, which is to create a world that works for everyone. That is my purpose as a minister, is to work towards that vision, that goal. Because I do believe that this is a world that works for everyone when we root ourselves in love and kindness. And that's really what it's all about. So here at Tucson New Thought, we provide practical tools for spiritual transformation and personal transformation. And I want to say welcome to those of you. So I know that we've got some new faces, people joining us for the first time today. And I'm so grateful that you've decided to be here and bring your consciousness into this space and this experience. Because at the end of the day, we're all one. We're all one. That's like the period, end of sentence. We are all one. We're each of us born from this creative energy of love. And each of us is a manifestation of this creative energy of love. And that's really what it's all about. When we deeply understand this, when we truly get this, our lives transform for the better. And many people come to this philosophy because they're looking for their lives to be transformed. I came to the philosophy by mistake, and then realized, oh, I'm here because my life wants to be transformed. And so I'm grateful to have found this. Everyone at any point of your spiritual path is welcome, and I am welcoming you. And I would like us each to welcome each other by turning to our neighbors and reminding them of their own magnificence by saying, you are magnificent to your neighbor. You are magnificent. And you, everyone online, you are magnificent.
You are magnificent. Welcome. Come on in. Robbie, Jean is magnificent. So as soon as we're settled and back, I'm going to invite Stefan to play a little bit as we go through a period of centering. So what I'm going to invite us all to do is simply relax right where we are. Just breathe. Allow yourself to recognize that the breath is there. There's nothing that's required to make the breath happen. It simply is. It's a natural flow. A natural in and out. And with each breath, our body becomes more relaxed. Breathing in and out. In and out. From this relaxed state, I invite us all to consider this idea that there is an infinite grace at the core of our heart, each and every one of us. And this grace expands and expands from that centered place. And it precedes us in all of our interactions. That right here, right now, we settle into the secure knowledge that we are led by grace. The inherent nature of each and every one of us is divine, for there is absolutely no separation. There is only one thing ever going on, and it is love. So imagine with each breath that we are breathing love in, breathing love out, breathing in the love that everyone within the sound of my voice shares. Breathing the love that you have to share. The fullness and recognition, this room is immersed in love. This planet is immersed in love. The universe is immersed in love because the universe simply is love. Allow ourselves to consider this for these few moments in the silence. In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said, and right here in this holy silence I find find God. I find myself. I find that they are one and the same. And that this is the truth for each and every one of us. We are that which is. We are, each and every one of us, perfect, individualized points of light, all contributing to the great light of the divine. There is absolutely no separation. There is only this perfect unity. And I know that each and every one of us is here on purpose, with purpose. And so I simply call this time open. I call this time productive. I call this time loving and generous and joyful. Knowing this, trusting this, and allowing this to be, I simply, in gratitude, deep gratitude, release this word to the law, knowing it is so, as together we say, and so it is. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. Oh, I find God. I find myself. And so with an easy breath, I invite you to, in your own time, open your eyes. I am in gratitude. I don't know where to be at the moment. I'm going to be right here. I'm in gratitude to this community and the core that are growing this community. And I'm really emotional. I'm just really excited. I'm really excited by what we are creating here, and welcome. It's nice to have you here. That there is a seed that has been planted that I know is continuing to grow and blossom, and it's just magnificent. And one of the great joys that I have is, as we continue to grow, to be able to introduce members of our community and voices in our community who have graciously decided to step up and offer what they have to offer as well. So what I do know about this woman is that I'm about to introduce is she has something wonderful to offer us today. She is a minister, which I don't know if everybody knows that. Maybe you know that. But I'm so grateful that she has decided to grace us with her wisdom today. Please welcome Reverend Marvis Rodriguez.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, got to get close. Good morning. Reverend Jonathan has asked a few of us to participate in the reading each week, and the reading encompasses, well, I don't have a reading today, I have a talk, a miniature talk on gratitude, grace, and trust, which is the theme of the month. And of course, I looked the definitions up in the dictionary, and gratitude, of course, is being thankful. We all knew that. Trust, a firm belief in a reliable truth. And I thought that was pretty good for religious science. And grace, the free and unmerited favor of God. But what does that mean to me? Well, I was thinking about that, and it came to my mind that I had an experience in my life where I felt all three of those very clearly. And I thought if I tell you my little story, you might get a feeling of what I felt and have a deeper understanding of those words. In 1996, my husband and I and our daughter and our dog and cats moved from New Jersey to Tucson, Arizona. He was driving a U-Haul truck with hauling a trailer behind, and I was driving his Saturn stick shift. Notice I was not very excited about that. Well, at that time, there were no cell phones, and so we used walkie-talkies. And of course, you had to be in close vicinity, in close radius. And after we left a gas station for a fill up, I didn't know if he went on the freeway first, or if was waiting, or if he was ahead. And I thought, oh dear, this is scary. And I thought, well, I'll just get on and start driving. And I did for a while, and I didn't see him. And so I started to panic, and I started treating, and I say that word treating as prayer, because I had finished my first year or third year, if that makes any sense to anybody, which is a practitioner in training. So I was really working on trust and believing and knowing that the divine of the universe has my best interest in mind. And so I kept holding that thought and sweating and driving, and it took me about 5 miles before I saw in the future, or in the four ahead of me, the van, the U-Haul, off to the side of the road. So I was so excited and thankful that when I got closer, I pulled up next to the truck, and he rolled down the window, and I said, "What happened to us?" And he said, "Marvis, get off the freeway. Look behind you." And there were 2 semis, one in each. You have to understand, I just stopped on the first lane of the highway next to his truck, barreling down on me. And I'm in this stick shift, which I always had trouble engaging. And at that time, I just popped the clutch and gravel flew, and I went off the freeway onto the side in front of the U-Haul. And I started shaking and crying because of how close that was, and knowing that I was carrying my daughter and the animals. And so I was just shaking. And in hindsight, I thought, if that isn't an example of grace, of God's good grace, that just had my goodness at heart, and therefore we were all safe and well. And I thought, it all ended perfectly, didn't it? We found each other and we were safe. And so all 3 of those blessings, gratitude, trust, and grace, were very clear to me in that moment. And so that is a way that I thought I could maybe explain what those words and how they showed up for me. And I thank you for giving me this time. And Reverend Jonathan, I thank you for trusting me. And by the way, I want to compliment you on your wonderful voice.
Thank you.
It's as smooth as silk.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. That was great. So great. When I come up with these themes for the month, I do it more for me to see what's going to come up through me, to well up through me in my spiritual practice when I'm putting my focus and thought onto these things: grace, gratitude, and trust. And I love hearing how that has sparked within you that story of remembrance, and how it can then teach each and every one of us to, in every moment, step into that place of grace and gratitude and trust we have that at our disposal at all times. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to invite Karimon to join me on stage as our resident candle lighter. This is a ceremony that we engage in every single week called Lighting the Flames of Faith. And what we are doing is we are ceremonially honoring all religious paths and faith traditions. And for each candle that we light, we are recognizing that each and every one of them comes from a consciousness of unity, from a consciousness of love. They are all connected by spirit, as spirit. Everything comes from one infinite energy and a wholeness, which is the source of all creation. And so we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. We light a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed. And the final candle we light is your candle. It's a candle for you to illuminate whatever is in your mind that requires light here and now, and you get to decide what that is. Thank you. As we were starting that, what came to mind for me is this thought that I would like to honor and draw attention to in our own minds right here and right now, a place where our gratitude and grace and trust can be spread, and that is to the community. And there's a lot happening in California, in Northern California, Southern California with the wildfires, but I want to particularly draw attention to the wildfires in Thousand Oaks because that is where my previous spiritual community is located, and they were evacuated. They cannot meet in their own sanctuary today, so they're doing a different thing, but let us just focus our own grace and gratitude and trust in the perfect flow of healing for that entire community right here and right now, that we have the capacity to do that in our own minds. So I just invite us to, whatever that means for you, in whatever way that resonates with you, to do that. The other thing that came up for me as we were going through the lighting of the flames of faith is the universalistic religion of Baha'i, which as a minister, you have to study world religions, and I happen to have a lovely friend who is Baha'i, and he sings at a lot of the New Thought centers in Canada. He is based out of Edmonton, and he wrote this magnificent song that I'm going to share with you today. His name is Martin Kerr, and so what do I tell you about Martin? He is Baha'i. He has a lovely family, a bunch of kids, and he's just a magnificent, magnificent soul on this earth. And he was like the 12th runner-up in one of the Canadian Idols. So there you go. Okay.
This one's for the undiscovered geniuses. Or is it genii? Let's start that over. Let me try and get this introduction in my brain. All right, here we go. That's my bad. I started singing, he wasn't expecting it. Here we go. This one's for the undiscovered geniuses. Or is it genii? I never knew. Who write and paint and chisel in their bedrooms. Known forever by the last name Who. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. But common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. You never had a hit song on the airwaves. You never broke out from the local scene. You didn't paste your walls with famous faces. And you prefer the window to the TV screen. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. But common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. Dancing with your hopes and fears instead of chasing zeros. The beautiful don't jump before the cameras. The wisest people hardly ever speak. And every time we're sent a perfect teacher, we miss them 'cause we overlook the meek. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. But common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. Harmonizing hearts and hands, making stained glass from sand. This one's for the folks who know they're precious, but no more precious than the garbage man. I kiss you on a cheek, not on a poster, 'cause genius wants a lover, not a fan. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. But common knowledge doesn't know the jewels below. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. Harmonizing hearts and hands, making mirrors from sand. I know you're out there. I know you're in there. But cover stories can't uncover the true lover.
First of all, isn't that a great song? I love that song. Thank you, Stefan. I'm going to send you and I'm going to talk for a little bit. There's a line that always catches me in that. It's this one when he wrote, "Dancing with your hopes and fears instead of chasing zeros." And I've always been kind of struck by that particular line in the song because I think it has multiple meanings. I've never talked to him about this song, but my initial thought is when he wrote the song, he had this idea that when we're chasing zeros, we're looking for those zeros at the end of our paycheck, right? That's what he, on the surface, meant. But I feel like there's a deeper meaning to that. That, instead of chasing hopes, we're dancing with our hopes and fears instead of chasing those unattainable, those things that are zeros, those things out there that seem like they have solidity to them, but they don't at the end of the day. And when we actually grasp them, they literally fall apart because they were not ours to have. And it's not like there are things that are not ours to have. We can have, can we have whatever we want? That's the big question. I hear yes, I hear no. You hear a but, yeah. But negates anything that preceded the statement. Ernest Holmes writes in The Science of Mind, we do not teach that you can get what you want. We do not teach that you can get what you want. What we teach is that you can get whatever you are equal to. So here's the thing. Whatever you are equal to in your mind and heart, I do that on purpose sometimes, mind and heart, it's all the same thing, right? We're all one unique expressive organism of light, rooted as God stuff. You get what you are equal to in your own mind. So if you want more love, you must be more love. Be equal to more love. If you want more joy, be equal to more joy. We cannot expect to experience love and joy if we are always out there complaining, being distressed, feeling like, oh, the world is out to get me. It's up to us to turn our mind around, to live in a state of grace and gratitude and trust. That's up to us. So those zeros are those things that we are not equal to, but we try to grasp onto them, right? And here's what'll happen too. This is one of my favorite things. We can get those things. We can attain the things in the world of form. And the minute we step back and we're like, oh, I finally got it. Then they disappear. Because we were never truly equal to them in the first place. If we allow ourselves to do the mental and spiritual work to be equal to what it is we would like to experience in life, then those experiences actually are drawn to us. We don't have to go out there and grasp them. And frequently when we're grasping them, what we are also doing is this. We're trying to coerce the law of cause and effect into creating something for us. And that takes a lot of energy when we're in the place of coercion. We don't need to coerce anything, ever. We don't need to coerce anything. We need to be. Just be. We need to really live rooted in the understanding and the consciousness of I am that I am. I am. Whatever follows that is who you are when you believe it at the level of the mind and the heart. Faith is an affirmative mode of thought. Faith is an affirmative mode of thought. Faith says, I can, rather than I cannot or I shall not. This is one of the big aspects of my ministry. I am always trying to encourage people to step into the place of understanding what it is they can do, rather than ever thinking or focusing on what it is we can't do. But we live in a society where it's very easy to get caught up in that focus of, oh, I can't do that. Has anyone ever heard themselves saying, oh, I can't do that? Ever? Never. Not in this room, surely. Faith says, I can. This is absolutely possible because I know who I am. That's what faith is rooted in, is an understanding and a knowing of who each and every one of us is. When we know that we are born from on high, and I'm using kind of, flowery language because a lot of people get very uncomfortable when I stand up here and say, when we can stand each and every one of us and claim I am God, because that is who and what we are. When we can claim our own divinity, our own understanding that we are part of the infinite wholeness, there's nothing ever separate. When we can claim that, then we are living from that state of faith, and life just gets better. It just gets better naturally because the nature of God is constructive. And so our inherent nature is constructive. You know what that does for me? It's like a release valve. I can just relax and enjoy my life when I know who I am. It's only when I'm trying to be something that I'm not that life gets hard. Oh, that's what the song is about. Within each and every one of us is an undiscovered genius. Within each and every one of us, there is that place, that aspect of us that has yet to be revealed to the world. Some of us like to maintain it, hold it close. Some of us are working every day to reveal it more and more and more, but there is that within each and every one of us that is looking to be expressed. You are the infinite nature of the divine looking to be expressed as you. So here's my request of you today. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out. One should not study to be spiritual. One should not study to be spiritual. Did you know that? You can't be any, you cannot be any more spiritual than you are right in this moment. When you put that into perspective and you say, oh, so then all the things that I'm doing, everything, 100% of it is spiritual. So what are the things that I'm doing that feel off track? Those things are still spiritual, but it may be using your own sense of spirituality in a way that is destructive rather than constructive. And so, relax back, relax back, relax back. One should not study to be spiritual as much as one should contemplate in order to imbibe the essence of spirit to speak from its center. That's Ernest Holmes. One should not study to be spiritual as much as one should contemplate in order to imbibe the essence of spirit to speak from its center. That's why we do things like centering and meditation, is to allow us to simply relax and go back to that centered understanding of who and what we are. Today is all about who we are, not what we do, but who we are. I think one thing we do take for granted is that spirituality is something to be attained, that we can somehow be more spiritual, that we can somehow step into possessing a deeper connection to spirit, that somehow as we become more spiritual, we're setting ourselves apart from those who are not. And I think the best work we can do as infinite spirit is to begin to recognize that when we know who we are, that every single person we encounter is exactly the same. That's why I say when I stand up here and I make the claim, I am God, so are you. Each and every one of us is God. We are simply expressing God at the level of our awareness and our expression of the infinite wholeness. When I stand up here and make that claim, what that does for me is it says to me, I can look out at my fellow, at every single person. I can look at all of humanity and see absolutely no separation any longer. Because when I know who I am, I know who everyone else is. It gets rid of isms and phobias. I've said that before. It is the great equalizer. It is the great equalizer to know who we are. So spirituality is not something to be gained. It's not something to be possessed. There is nothing to be possessed. There is nothing to be possessed. There is only that which we should be more and more. There is only that which we already are. And the idea of spiritual practice is to allow us to come into a place of recognition of that more and more deeply at all times. At all times. We already are spirit, so what's more spiritual than that? That's my question today. And as I said, if I'm going to be living in a place of grace, gratitude, and trust, that I was going to do my random selection, and talk about whatever comes up, whatever spirit is driving us to today to be heard. So I would like you to please give me a number between 25 and 423. 33. We're going right to the beginning. So here's the irony of this. So this is in the first 25 pages of the book, which is the entire philosophy. All right, 33, 1, 2, 3. A number between 1 and 4. 4? This is the header, Divine Nature is in every man and woman. I will add to that. This is the thing itself. Briefly, let us recapitulate. There is that within every individual which partakes of the nature of the universal wholeness, and insofar as it operates is God. Like, come on, really? I just told you that. That is the meaning of the word Emmanuel, the meaning of the word Christ. People get hung up on the word Christ, right? Christ is not Jesus' last name. It is a deeper understanding. Christ is a consciousness. To have the Christ consciousness is to live from this point of view that there is only one thing ever going on. That's what Jesus was here to teach. Jesus was here to teach that there is only one thing going on, and he stated it thusly. The Father and I are one. He meant the universal I, each and every one of us. We are one. The Father is the infinite spirit. We are individualizations of the infinite spirit. That's what I believe Jesus meant. He also taught the second part of New Thought and religious science, which is this. It is done unto you as you believe. That's the law of cause and effect. So whatever it is that you're looking to create in your experience, our job is to believe it first and foremost. Because when we believe it, then we receive it. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's what he's talking about. When we know who we are, this is what happens. There is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being. And since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine. We are divine. It reacts to us according to our belief in it, and it is an immutable law, subject to the use of the least among us, no respecter of persons. It cannot be bound. I could read the whole paragraph and tell you what it all means, but I want to talk a moment about it being no respecter of persons. The law works for each and every one of us in exactly the same way, regardless of who we are. It does not care if we think we're better than anyone else. It does not care if we have more money. It does not care because it can't care. It is impersonal. It is an impersonal law, the law of cause and effect. And so it will do for us only what we impart upon it at all times. At all times. This is very important because the law will not react to you better if you pray harder. The law reacts perfectly in alignment with the level of, not the level, that's not really the word I want to use. The law will always react, well, it will. It will always react to the level of your own consciousness of it. So if we're allowing ourselves to move through life willy-nilly, with our thoughts running rampant and not really focusing our thought and our love and our heart and our support and our joy in the direction of spirit, then we will get what we actually are just putting out there, which is willy-nilly. If we put out willy-nilly thoughts, we get willy-nilly experience. When we put out directed thoughts, when we impress upon the law our directed thought, it returns to us exactly that. That goes with this equal thing. It's the law works perfectly for every single person. This experience of the Sunday gathering with Tucson New Thought, you know what? You're all here because of me. It is all about me. But here's why I will say that. I can say that because you are a representation of that in the world of form to which I am equal in my own mind as a minister. And so as I expand my thinking, as I expand my understanding, as I expand my consciousness into greater expressions of this thing called Tucson New Thought, this expression will grow and manifest itself into new ways of being. That's what's really exciting to me. Because there are people who might come in and say, oh, it's such a small community. Well, first of all, there is no great nor small to the soul that maketh all. That's Emerson. There is no great or small to the soul that maketh all. God only understands one thing and one thing only. God knows it is. God knows it is. And so, as we expand our consciousness, we experience more. Expand our consciousness, experience more. Expand our consciousness, experience more. So I am grateful, and I live in gratitude in every moment, every single day for this community and what it is as a seed in mind that is expanding and growing. And I'm grateful for everyone who's made the commitment to be here. Now, you may wonder, what does this have to do with the title today, Gracious Goodness? Well, it's a play on words, because if you say, oh, goodness gracious, right? When we live in graciousness, when we live in gratitude, when we live from that idea, from that consciousness, the only thing that can ever follow is goodness. That's it. And so I encourage each and every one of us to move forth today with graciousness in our hearts and in our minds, and trust the flow of goodness in everything that shows up, even if it doesn't feel so good. In that moment, allow yourself to step more into graciousness for the experience. We experience sometimes things that don't feel so good. There's always something to be gracious for within those experiences. There's always something more to be known. And so that's the work. That's it. That's the work. To more and more lead with love, lead with joy, lead with graciousness, and live in trust. Namaste. Gratitude. Oh, this is another great quote. Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity. Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity. We're all living in heaven already, because heaven is a state of mind, not a place we're getting to. So live in gratitude, and we are crowned with this consciousness of unity. I'm going to invite Stefan to come back up. And I'm going to invite us all to take out whatever it is we're offering the center today. Excuse me. Tucson New Thought is a community that is supported through your generosity, through your commitment to the growth of this community. So whatever you call it, your investment, your gift, your contribution, your tithe, whatever you call it, recognize that there is an energy and a power in the giving of yourself through financial support, through your loving support, through volunteering, and through your consciousness. Ultimately, if you give of your consciousness to the good thoughts and flow of this center growing and growing and growing and expanding and becoming a force for good in this community, that's really what it's all about. It's all about sharing. And so I invite you to hold whatever it is you're offering the center today and recognize that money is love in action. As you invest to this vision, you're supporting the mission, and we get to expand this together. So let's read together on your handout the Divine Love Statement. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. So, William, thank you for helping out here. I'm going to put in my stone as a representation of my commitment that I give online and give regularly. And if you are online and would like to make a contribution, you can do so by clicking on the link, which is in the description of this video, whether you're watching live or in the archive. I'm grateful for your support as well. I want to say thank you to John, the owner of Spark Project Collective, for giving us our home where we are meeting these various Sundays. And I want to say thank you to Stefan for providing beautiful music for us today. Yes. I want to say thank you to Aiden for helping us out online today with our the technical aspects. He walked in and I said, Aiden, the camera doesn't work, make it work. And he has made it work so we can ensure that we are out and contributing to the community at large online as well. I want to say thank you to Carrie-Mon for helping me with lighting the candles. And I want to say thank you to Reverend Marvis for your beautiful story and your reading today. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you, Sweet Spirit, for relieving me of the congestion that I seem to be plagued by from my previous illness. We do have needs as we continue to grow. Come on up here and I will explain what's happening here. We do have needs as we continue to grow. So if you would be willing to serve as an usher or provide hospitality on a Sunday, there's a sign-up sheet on the desk over there. We also have prayer request forms. So if there's something you would like prayer on, you can fill out a request form and we will do the prayer. It will get sent out to, it will be read, it will be prayed upon by me, by Reverend Marvis, and by our practitioner who has decided to serve here as well, Robbie Jean. And I am grateful for your consciousness, the consciousness of this community. And if you are feeling called to let this be your spiritual home, we also have membership forms which you can fill out as well. Hello, Anita.
Hi.
How are you?
Nervous, which is silly, but I'm nervous.
So I went to the Boys and Girls Club of Tucson this week on Monday night, and I led a workshop in public speaking. And I talked about nervousness. And I said the physiology of nervousness is the same physiology of excitement. So you're just excited.
I am excited.
She's excited, and I'll tell you, and now I'm going to speak for you. Anita is excited because she's going to share her beautiful singing voice with us as we step into this time of completion. So I'm going to invite us all to relax right where we are. Living in gratitude for every single person who has shown up here today, every single person online showing up. I am in gratitude for each and every one of you showing up and supporting this vision and this mission and the great work we do. And so we complete our time here with this beautiful blessing.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on.
So right here and right now, I live in the secure knowledge that there is only one power, one presence, one infinite creative resource. It is love. And it is who and what each and every one of us is. There is absolutely no separation. There is only this unified wholeness. We are the very presence of the divine. I know that each and every one of us is expanding in this understanding. Each and every one of us is expanding in the knowledge of the good. That each of our hearts is rooted in kindness. And that this is what we carry from here into the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. For it is an infinite unfoldment of spirit. That is what we are experiencing right here and right now. And so everything, every place we go, every person we encounter is a representation of the infinite light. There is absolutely no separation. There is only God. There is only love. Trusting this, knowing this, I call this time complete. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful, allowing my beingness to be filled with gratitude. I breathe, relax, release, and allow. As together we say, and so it is.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your
Namaste, everyone.